Howdy everyone, this is Tricia and welcome to my channel. This year I will be doing a farmhouse themed Christmas. All the supplies that I will be using will serve as a basis to show you how I put items together for my projects. I hope that they will serve as an inspiration to give you ideas on how you can put things together for your holiday decorating. And I hope that you will enjoy this whole series. And as always, to all of you, Merry Christmas. Alright everyone, today we are going to be making a Christmas joy plaque. Now in the past videos I have been using pine garland to show you how you can create different shapes and do different items besides using it as a garland. So I'm going to be using a little bit of that also for this particular craft. So let me show you what the supplies are going to be, but first let me tell you, because some of you have commented and you've asked. Yes, I did do this sign. It is done freehand. Thank you very much if you like it. I'm using just regular white chalk from Crayola. That's all I used. Put some tape, you know, in the lines where I wanted my lettering to be, and that is what I created. Thank you very much to those of you who liked it. So let's find out what the supplies are going to be. Alright, so I decided to sit down at the start of my video. I'm going to be using some ribbons, and I've got this one from the Dollar Tree. I've already been using some of it. There's just still a little bit left in it. I'm not going to use very much, so I feel like I'm going to use what's on here rather than having to open a second package. I do have this other ribbon that I got at a craft store. Excuse me, I'm knocking things over. And this is what it looks like. I've got some little berries because I do want to use some of these, and I've already used some of them from this particular bush. And this is also from the Dollar Tree. Got this from the Michael's Fall collection, and I got it at half off, so I thought that was a really good deal. Okay, I also have this little stem of cotton, and then I've got leftover pieces of garland, and I've got this little piece, and this might be all that I need, but I did go ahead and grab this other piece just in case. And then I've also got a couple of letters. I've got the letter J and the letter Y. I got these from Hobby Lobby. And then I have this plaque that I did get last year. I did some Easter project on this, and it came out really cute. And I decided to repurpose the plaque because it goes with my farmhouse decor that I'm doing for this Christmas. And as you can see, it's got some paint missing here and some other little areas where it's been sanded because I had items glued here and up here. When I removed everything, of course, there was some nasty glue. So I scraped it off, and then I just sanded it down, cleaned it up a little bit. And that is all I had to do with that. Okay, so I've also got some paints. I've got some white that I'm going to use on my letters. And then I've got this, it's called a golden brown. I'm going to use that on the wood sign, maybe a little bit in the letters. And of course I'm going to need a brush for that. And a little cup of water, which I haven't grabbed yet, but I'll grab that soon. I've got my glue gun and some glue sticks ready. I've got scissors here, my needle nose pliers, the usual supplies or tools that I have on hand just in case, wire cutters and floral wire just in case I need those. You can use chenille stems if you don't use floral wire. All right, let's get to crafting. All right, so I've got my golden brown paint right here, and I'm just going to squirt little bits of paint on it in just a small area for now, or half of it, not the whole thing. And I'm just going to take my brush and start spreading that paint out. And I will continue doing that to the rest of my sign. I don't want a complete coverage. And some areas maybe I want them to look, you know, worn. So I will just pour little bits of paint at a time and then just brush it out. And I'll brush it off on the sides as well. Little sides over here, and also on the bottom side as well right here. So I'm going to do this to all of them. I'm not going to worry about getting too much deep coverage between them. I just want to get a more or less the color that I like. If I find that it's a little too dark, I will spread some white on there as well, on top like that. And my brush was dry, by the way. I didn't start with a wet brush. So I can spread some on there and kind of create another lighter tone, if you will. So this is a good way to create that effect. There we go, just spread out that. And it doesn't have to be evenly coated, evenly blended, but you do want your strokes to try to go all the way down so that you don't have like your ends that are unfinished, unpainted. So let me hold this up close to you so you can see what that's looking like. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do to the rest of my board. Then I'm going to take my two letters, my J and my Y. I'm going to remove obviously the stickers. I've done that to this one already. And then I'm going to paint these white. And I shall be back when all of this is nice and dry, and then we'll continue decorating our board. I want to put my letters on my board, and I just kind of more or less eyeballing it, you know, the top and the bottom, the height that I want them. And then of course I want to leave enough space in between where the letter O would go. And I guess you get the hint. That is what the garland piece is going to be used for, to form the letter O, or a little mini wreath, however you want to look at it, and that will spell out joy. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and hot glue this down because I like the position that it is, more or less. If you don't want to lose your position, what you could do is you could trace around it with a pencil in just some little spots, like the bottom, the top, and then kind of like the sides, so that when you push it, you know, put it back down with your glue, you know exactly where to place it. But I'm just going to eyeball mine, as crooked as it might come out. This is for the purpose of the video. So I want to go in a little bit and then down about so much. There we go. Now my Y. There we go. About right here. There we go. Okay, so now I want to do the wreath that's going to go in the middle. So I got this little piece here, and I'll measure it in just a moment. And I was thinking this might be enough. So I want to find where the actual wire of the actual garland is, not the little branches, but it's right here, and then the end is over here on this other side. And I want to see if this is a big enough O. And I feel like it is. I think that's good enough. And don't worry about what was covering in the middle. We will fix that. And this piece here, just the wired part, not what the little branches would stand, is almost 15 inches. It's about, actually it's about 14 and a half. I don't know if this is real straight. 14 and a half to 15 inches of garland. That's all I'm using out of a, you know, what was originally a 9-foot garland. As a matter of fact, I have a little sticker here that says the paper mache and the size. I don't know if you can see that. It's 8.5 inches or 20.95 centimeters. How's that? Does that help? I hope it does for some of you that probably don't use inches to measure. Okay, so this particular size is good enough to create my O. So I'm just going to move this over to the side. And I'm going to bring this around. There we go. Let's poof this up a little bit first, because that always helps when I poof up everything so I can see it really well and it doesn't look a big old hot mess. Okay, plus I kind of flatten it down as I'm doing this, and anything that's like in the back that's kind of crisscrossing in the wrong way, I bring it around. Okay, so this is basically what I do, just poof it. And now I know where my two ends are. One is over here, and one's right, obviously, these two parts here. Let me bring this around this way and that one that way. Okay. Now that I've got them, then I can go ahead and form my circle. And then I'm going to take the two little branches that are at the furthest end and then just twist those together to form my circle. So now that I've got a circle, I'm going to push all this branches down so that I have this side flat. Actually, this one goes this way. Okay. Push them all outward. So now I have a little wreath. It can be flat on the table like that. See, and now I can open these little branches and push them outward as well. So that also helps to give me a little circle there, so that forms a little wreath, real nice. Now, I gave you all a tip when I made a wreath, a little mini wreath last time, that if you feel like your wreath is too big, then what you do is you take the tips and then just kind of curl them in. Just curl them in the direction that you feel like there's maybe like a little gap, like there's nothing there. I'm just going to bend them in, and this also makes my little wreath look a little more full, you know, within itself rather than just spread out. Okay, I want to curl it inward into the wreath, not this way, but, and then these branches can be done upward and these downward, etc., or to the sides. And then just direct them if you see a little gap that you feel like is showing too much, and then just shape it as best as you can. There we go. We have a nicer, smaller, little more compact wreath. Let's bring this over and make sure that that does fit in there. And it does. Look at that. And that's going to spell out the word joy. So now I want to place this wreath at a good level. Now, if this board was a little wider, I could spread out my letters a little bit more. And I could certainly just gone ahead and cut out I got some paint on me. I guess there's a little spot here that wasn't quite dry. But anyway, if I could have just cut out another board, because I do have some scrap pieces of wood, some plywood, that my husband could easily cut out for me, because I haven't learned how to use this particular saws that he has now. So anyway, or you can cut it yourself if you're confident to do that. Okay, so anyway, I'm not saying, ladies, that you need a man to do this. If you can do it yourself. Me particularly. Plus, that makes it feel useful. Okay, anyway. I could have just done that, made it a little bit longer plaque or board or sign or whatever you want to call this, and then just spread this out a little bit more. But I'm happy with the way that it is. Look at that. I think it looks really cute. I'm just going to go ahead and glue this down. And of course, this is already a finished product just like this. As a matter of fact, I saw a wood plaque, or it was a sign actually, at Hobby Lobby that had the letters in wood, and that it had a little tiny little wreath in the middle, and that's all it was. And it was on a little wood, like a frame. It had a little frame on it, and that's all it was. But you know what? I'm going to decorate it a little bit, because I wanted to have the colors that I have in my home. So first thing is to just glue it down. So I'm just going to put some hot glue in areas where I know it's going to rest. So I know that it's going to rest in this spot right here. Put plenty of glue there. Here as well. And here. Alright. Try to quickly move, because I've got a little fan here because I'm hot. And guess what? It's storming and raining outside right now. Little cool front coming in. We just call them cool fronts. We don't call them cold fronts. I don't care what the news says. It's just a little cool front, because that's all that happens. Okay, there we go. My husband was making a joke about it a while ago, and he said you need to get your long johns and your mittens ready, because cold is coming, winter's coming. Okay, here we go. That's it. That looks beautiful. Let's decorate it. I'm a little concerned about this wet paint over here on the side. I keep touching it. Okay. Get this little, I was using this little piece of pine to kind of get the paint off my fingers. All right, let's decorate it. So I showed you that earlier, that I had some little flowers, some berries, and some cotton. I don't want to put too much. It's so pretty. And I had shown you the ribbons that I had here that I could also use. Now, while I was rummaging through my stuff, I found that I had these little leftover pieces of ribbon where I was doing, I think I was doing I was doing my mini wreaths and probably a swag that I put over in that same area. So I had these two little pieces left over from some ribbon that I cut up. So I'm just going to take these two, and I'm actually going to cut these ends straight like that, so I can bring them closer and then fold them and just do this little cut on them. See that? And then just a little piece of floral wire, and that's where I'm going to use my wire cutters. About 6-8 inches of floral wire, if you can see that there against the white of the table. There. Okay. I'm going to take my two pieces Scrunch them up, one on top of the other. Wrap this tight. I don't need to make a bow. It's just a little tiny little bit of ribbon. And then I'm going to, this is where I use my needle nose pliers. I take my ends and I start curling them in. Just squish them and curl them in until they're all the way down up against the ribbon. And I can squish it flat right there. So that gives me some, like a little bit of a base where I can actually put some glue on and then just glue it in there. That's all I have to do. So that I don't have to take a pine and then bring it over around it, which I could have just done also. But I'm just going to glue it on top of there. So putting some glue right in there. Find a nice little nest in there to push that into. That way we don't see that wire that went across the center of the ribbon. And then you could separate these if you want, or just put them on top of each other. You know, curl the little ends if you want, because it does have wire on the ends. And you could shape this any which way you want. I think that looks really pretty just like that. I am considering using any of these flowers now because I don't want too much on it. I do think I want the cotton for sure. So you know what? I am going to use these bits here. Let me go ahead and cut off a couple for now. And then decide. And all I'm going to do is push them back in, the little cotton bits, because, you know, they catch on to other things. I like one there. Let me get a third one. Put that. I'm trying to put down my tools down softly. I need a little mat. Little foamy kind of a mat where I can just lay them on and they don't make a lot of noise, or rubbery mat. So I'm going to look for that. Okay, just to soften and you don't hear that loud. Especially for those of you using earbuds, because, you know, I don't know if you're like me that you like to watch videos late at night in bed on your tablet, your iPad, or whatever you happen to be using. Maybe even your laptop. And your hubby or partner or friend, whomever next to you, you don't want them to have to be hearing that so they can sleep. There we go. And then you hear thunk. Sorry. I didn't mean to laugh. It was just giggly. Just nervous giggle. Okay, there we go. Just put some little cotton on there. And this is where I decide that maybe I'm just going to skip over the flowers. You know what, as a matter of fact, I am. And I'm just going to take one of these stems, pop it off. And I'm going to do the same with this. I'm just going to cut off little pieces. Get my scissors. Just cut off little clusters like that. Carefully pull on them, because that little, these things, they're like stuck together. Once they get like spray painted, they have like a coat of paint on them, and when you pull them apart, you know, some of that stuff comes off. So just be careful when you pull them apart, and then just find the part where, you know, you don't see too much of that, and then that'll be the part where it will be facing up. I'm gonna put some glue. Oops, sorry, get that out of the way. And just glue them wherever you want. I kind of like them like clustered up next to the cotton. Like that. I think I need another little cluster. Here's another one right in here that I can cut into. A little cluster like that. I think I like it just like that, real nice and simple. This is ready to hang. So let's take a good look at it with a camera at a different angle, and I'll be right back. Okay everyone, this is the finished plaque, my Christmas joy plaque that I have created. Very simple, with minimal decorations on it. I think it looks really pretty. I'm going to give myself a big old thumbs up. Please give me a big old thumbs up. I will hang it on the wall or on my door and pan the camera around so you can look at it a little bit better. Thank you for everyone that has been subscribing. I really appreciate that. Please subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, and hit that little notification bell so that you will get notified every Tuesday and Friday of when I put up my videos. And like I said, leave a nice comment below and share on your social medias. And as always, enjoy.